You are joking. Oh. Am I live? Can anybody tell me? Can they see me? I'm the wrong way around. I can't believe it. Let me know if you can see me, hear me. I'm afraid I've got problems here. It's the wrong way around. Can you believe this? When I turn on, I tried to. I don't know what's going on here, folks. Let me know if you can see me. I'll probably look like that instead of that. I'm the wrong way round. I'm not meant to be this way round. I don't know what's going on, and I can't turn it the other way around. Ah, oh, why does this always happen? I can't believe it. I'm not supposed to be like this. I mean, I might have to just continue the live stream like this because I can't turn it the other way. Type 1 if you want me to turn it the other way and see if it works. Type 1 because I don't think it's going to work this, and I've just had to shut the phone down to see if it will correct itself, and it won't. It tells me when I go the other way. I'm gonna probably be upside down now. Watch. In fact, it's telling me that it's not working now. Everything's all sideways, so it's not going to work this way, I'm afraid. Let me know if you saw me. Did you see me the right way up, or maybe you can see me the right way up, but I'm certainly not seeing the screen the right way up, and it's got a warning on me telling me it's the wrong way around. What an absolute pain that is. So let me know if you could see me the other way around, but I can't have it that way around because it won't let me see the screen. And everything's going sideways. Everything's going, it's as if it's in portrait mode. So that's an absolute pain, that is. I can't believe it. We're going to have to just do it like this, I'm afraid. Yeah. Anyway, hopefully you can hear me all right. I don't think it matters too much if it's this way around. What do we type for keeping it in portrait? Well, it's the problem at my end, you see. What's happened is, have I got rotation lock on? There's no rotation lock on this. I mean, I can try something. There isn't a rotation lock. What happened was, let's try. Just want to try something. I don't think it's going to work. No, it's not going to work. I don't think that there's any way that I'm going to be able to get this right. I don't know why it's doing it. If anyone knows why, I did. I just turned it off and back on again. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to be this way around, I'm afraid. Yeah. What a pain. I don't know why. It's happened before that, you know. It was a long time ago when it last happened. And what it was is the way that I set it up. I set it up in portrait mode, and I don't know. I don't know why it does it. I always try to avoid it, and I've avoided it most of the time, but this time it got me. And I can't turn it the other way because it says rotation. It has to be this way around. Now, if I turn it this way around, let me know if you can see me okay. If you can see me okay, good for you, but I can't see your comments because the comments are coming sideways, and it's also greyed out as well because it's telling me it's got this big notification saying orientation is locked, rotate the device back. So I have to do this, I have to rotate it back, and then everything comes back on again. So yeah, not good, but I think we can probably manage. At least I'm the right way up. Whether I'm like that or the other way around. Yes, I'm having to do this from the phone because I do try to do it on the computer if I'm out and about. I will do, but tonight it's very, very cloudy tonight. We can't see anything tonight, so unfortunately I can't go out tonight, I'm afraid, to do anything. It's really, really cloudy here today. Very, very cloudy. No, I'm gonna stay on this. I'm gonna stay. If everyone's all right with this, type 2. Just lower the camera and it'll be cool. Yeah, I'll try and lower it if I can. I'm not sure if I can because everything's all gone wrong, you see. Because, oh, hang on. I know what to do. I know what to do. I think I know what to do. Bear with me. Oh, bear with me. Right. We'll get this in a second. Oh, I'm just going to fix this. By the way, that picture on the wall there is Fiddler's Ferry power station. They're going to be not Fiddler's Ferry. That's Ferry Bridge, but there's a power station very similar to that in on Widnes, and they're going to be knocking the cooling towers down soon. Oh, I think all those cooling towers on that one have come down. So that was a few years ago. But yeah, that picture was taken back in 2016 when it was still a fully functional coal power station. So hi to who we got? Hi to Sarah. Hi to Marianne. I am on Twitter. Yeah. The Fonz. Hi to Fonz. Hi to James. Hi to Leon. Hi to Audio Coffee 1234. Julie. Campadrone. Buan. Yeah. Has anyone seen any stars lately? Because I haven't. It's very, very cloudy today. Can't even see the moon. Do you have a PO box? Could send you the cigars? Is that me? Yes, I don't smoke. I don't think I'd smoke cigars. So, beyond every valley. I was in Blackpool on Saturday with my daughter. It's not been a bad weekend, really, has it? I don't think. Hi to Gavin Davis. Hi to Cat's Rule. Hi to Julie C. Sarah says she should be back in Blackpool in December. Bitcoin and Wolf Club. Fiddler's Ferry is being demolished on a Sunday. I think it's 3rd of December. Someone says the 7th. I heard it was the 3rd. There's a bright one on its own from my house. Yeah, well, we could see. Hi, Peter. We could see stars on the live stream I did. We had quite a look at quite a few stars, didn't we? We got to see the moon and we got to see Saturn and everything. Unfortunately, tonight it's just far too cloudy to do anything outside. So I'm just trying to keep it simple tonight. What we do have, we have got. There is like a minor meteor shower on. I say minor. It's the peak of it was last night actually. Julie says she didn't see one star in Turkey, but the sunsets were beautiful. And I've heard that Turkey's really, really good for astronomy. It's really good. I've seen some pictures from there, and it's amazing. You can see the Milky Way and everything. The best way to do that, LDEW, is to look at my other channel. I do have a place on there where people can send stuff to me. I think Moonage is watching 1, 2, 3, 4. Is there a fresh meteor shower starting? Yeah, so we've actually got a meteor shower on at the moment. It's not one that I look for. It's called the Draconids. Watching Osaka live stream for meteor showers. Yeah, we've actually just gone past the peak of the Draconid meteor shower, and that is it's a meteor shower that's it's sort of near Ursa Major. If you know where the plough is, you know the plough, the saucepan, the Big Dipper, that sort of thing. It's the constellation of Draco, they call it. Constellation of Draco. It snakes all the way through the top of the plough. In between Ursa Major and Ursa Minor, where the North Star is. It's quite a faint constellation. You can't really see the stars, but that's the constellation of Draco, and that's where the Draconid meteors are. You can see. There you go. I'm not really sure what my favourite lozenges or sweets are really. I don't really eat that many sweets to be quite honest. Sat here watching it, but my pointing my telescope at the telly. Now, I do need to get my telescope out, and hopefully on a live stream, whenever we get a clear spell, we hopefully get a look through my telescope, because I want to connect the camera up to the telescope and we'll get a zoom in on the moon. We might even get zoomed in on Saturn or Jupiter or something like that. We'll get in a lot more than we did on that video that we did in Lytham. If you saw the live stream where we were showing Saturn the other week, we did get pretty close to Saturn. We were able to see the rings of Saturn. I connected it up to Frank's camera, and it was only a 400mm lens, you know, but we were able to get right in there, and I was able to bring you Saturn. Hi to Rick. Rick's in the house. Yeah. So, yeah, it went dark really early today, you know. I think we might have some fog tonight. Correction, cooling towers at Fiddler's Ferry Power Station being demolished on Sunday the 3rd of December. Yeah, that's what I heard. Sunday 3rd of December. Hi to Paul. So they're bringing down the Fiddler's Ferry cooling towers on December the 3rd. Is Christmas by the Sea coming back? Yes, it is. Yeah, on November the 17th. Yes, it is. So yeah, so at the moment, not much happening at the moment because we've got quite a bit of cloud. I mean, the weather's not too bad. High to Brum in the Highlands. It's fair. We've got some fair weather today. Not a whole lot of wind, but we've had a heck of a lot of cloud today, and that cloud just hasn't shifted at all. So unfortunately, can't really do much outside. But I really hope to get back outside again soon, and we'll get some more, because I think the last few live streams, you know, where I've been out, have been pretty epic, haven't they? Yeah, we've managed to get some really good stuff. We've got writing on the moon. We've managed to get the planets. I've showed a few stars as well. Ferrybridge Power Station has been demolished. I went to the same bridge as you to do light trails as a disabled photographer. Yeah, that picture there was taken in February 2016. And it was only a few months later that they actually stopped, they decommissioned it, and they stopped. So they stopped putting out the steam out of the cooling towers. What do you call the times the moon is visible during the daytime? The moon, when you can see the moon during the day, it's usually a waning moon. A waning moon during the day. If you can see it during the day, it'll be waning, because it will be in front of the sun. It'll rise before the sun, and you tend to get a waning moon during the day. You can see like a waxing moon during the day. I mean, it kind of depends. When will the Starman? Good question, Elaine. Yes, I've actually got a calendar coming out. Yeah, a Starman calendar. At last, I've got a Starman calendar coming out. I'm still waiting for them yet, so look out for that. I've actually done a Starman calendar. I thought I might as well mention it here, as soon as someone asked. Yeah, same amazing. I think one of the questions is, where is the moon at the moment, or what phase is the moon in at the moment? So it's referred to as a lunar day. A lunar day. Yeah, if you watch the moon, if you actually watch the moon when it rises, and you're able to see it later in the night, or even when it sets, you'll notice, you might notice that it's the stars that are close to it it's maybe moved away from them, because it does drift through the sky. It doesn't move with the stars. It drifts by around about 10 degrees or something like that as it goes around. So it does move away. And I almost bought you a Star Gazine jacket. I wish you were not sure if you'd like it or not. Well, thanks very much. But it has the constellations on the coat. Oh wow, nice. Evening from a chilly Edinburgh. Xander J. So how's it looking where you are? Because it's very, very cloudy here. I was out today and we've got a complete whiteout. Complete whiteout. No sun at all today. Hi to Michael. No sun. No sun today. Thanks, Black Country Crazy Drivers. When the comet meant to be happening or coming? Well, you know, I haven't heard much about the comet. I've not heard anything about it. So maybe the comet disappeared. Greg Helton says it's sunny and 86 Fahrenheit in Texas. Wow. That's about as hot as it ever got here. And that was probably only for the odd day. In fact, I don't even think we got that hot. I think we got to about low 80s here in the summer. In August, something like that. Neil says he can see outbreaks of cloud but can see stars. Well, you can see stars through the clouds, that's something. Low cloud and fog during the day. Cloudy now, no stars in Oldham. Well, you're high up in Oldham as well, aren't you? You're probably in the cloud, right in the cloud there. Cloudy in Swansea, says Chris. There's bright sunshine here in North Carolina, USA. First time in days. Someone's got some sunshine. Hunter's moon this month, or you're pagan, or if you're a pagan, blood moon. Yes, yes, we've got a blood moon, or a partial blood moon. I think that in America, they probably get to see the total eclipse because there is a solar eclipse happening this month. A solar eclipse, but it's no normal eclipse. It's not a, well, I don't think any eclipse is normal, but this solar eclipse is a little bit different. I'll tell you all about it in a minute. Just want to read these comments. Sky gazing is tricky when I'm due to light, but we get amazing sunset, says Rebecca Green says. Have you got your camera on for short video settings? Yes, I am the wrong way around. I'm this way around, I'm afraid. They've got black borders either side. This is the way it is, I'm afraid. I can't do the way. Portrait mode. Portrait mode. Something's gone wrong with the... something went wrong with it. When I set it up, it thought that I wanted to be in portrait mode when I wasn't. I didn't want it to be in portrait mode. 18 degrees in Coventry. What's that in Fahrenheit? That's about 65. 65 degrees Fahrenheit. It's about that in Blackpool today. Yeah, so that's why I'm in this mode. I'm in portrait mode, everybody. There's nothing wrong with your TV. I'm in portrait mode. I can't do anything about it. I can't override it, I'm afraid. Yeah, eclipse only in north and central USA. Yeah, so I want to talk about this eclipse. It's happening on, I think it's happening on the 14th of October, which is it the weekend? So we've got a total, not a total, we've got it's what you call an annular solar eclipse. I'm just reading my, oh, in fact, there you are. That's what's going to happen, folks. We're going to get the ring of fire. No one laughing. No laughing about the ring of fire. It's not that ring of fire we're talking about. So this is what's going to happen in America. Texas, I think it's Texas. You're going to get the moon moving in front of the sun, but because the moon is going to be further away in its orbit when it covers the sun, it's not going to cover it altogether. So what's going to happen is we're going to get this sort of eclipse. It's like what they call a ring of fire. It's what's known as an annular solar eclipse, where the moon is not big enough to cover the sun. So that's going to happen. The eclipse will only be about 42% on the east coast, but you still get a bit of eclipse. So we had a pretty good eclipse last year, partial eclipse. Yeah. And the thing is as well, it shows you. I think it's going to be Texas. Texas does very well. And here's like a sequence here. Can you see that? Where it kind of shows you what's going to happen. The moon's going to move across the face of the sun, and it's going to turn it into like a crescent. You know, like when you see a crescent moon, and eventually it will cover the sun, but not completely. So what will happen is, I'll tell you what will happen. Now, I've seen a total solar eclipse. I saw one, the Great American Eclipse of 2017. And what happened was, the day that as the moon almost completely blocked the sun out, it was still relatively bright. You know, we could still see around. It looked almost like, I suppose it looked like it does when it gets near sunset. And when the moon did cover the sun, it didn't go dark. It did not go dark at all. It just went a bit like, you know, at dusk, when the sun's been down for, I don't know, a little while, say 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It looked a bit like that, but it never went totally dark. And we could see planets. We couldn't really see constellations. So I'm just trying to remember what I could see during that eclipse. I took some pictures of it. Hi to Frank in Blackpool. It said some USA groups. Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah, you might be able to see the eclipse live. That would be a good thing, wouldn't it? Yeah. Very cloudy here at Cleveland, and we've got sea mist. Ooh. Sea mist in Cleveland. Yeah, that might be worth a look. George Smiley says he's going to watch the Greyhounds. Maximum eclipse in Texas from 11:55 to 11:57. Is that going to be? Are you going to get the Ring of Fire, or are you going to get just a partial? This is one sort of eclipse I'd like to see. You know, this sort of eclipse, this one that's happening, it's called an annular. I don't know why they call it, but it's called an annular eclipse. It's what happens when the moon is further away and is too small to cover the sun. So it leaves that big ring around it, the Ring of Fire. Like I said there, look. That's what happens when the moon goes in front of the sun when it's further away in its orbit. In fact, if it's anything like that, that's probably about as far away as it can get, because that is actually quite a big, that's actually quite a big ring around the outside. It's never going to block the sun completely. Thanks, Eugene. We've got 65 watching. Don't forget to hit the like button. By the way, if you just joined us, there's nothing wrong with your TV. There's nothing wrong with the TV. This is just the way it is, I'm afraid. Sorry about the borders. I can't turn the thing the other way round, so it has to be this way round, I'm afraid. You're going to have to watch me this way round. But I just want to show you something. Right. So I did see the total solar eclipse, the one in the Great American Eclipse, they called it, in America, yeah. 2017, yeah. That was an amazing eclipse. It was probably the most watched eclipse of any. And I've got all these pictures. Look at all these pictures here. These are all the pictures that I took of the eclipse. Can you see that there? That was the Great American Eclipse of 2017. And that was these are all taken in Wyoming, Casper. And you can see the way that the moon, at the top, you can see the way the moon cuts into the sun. And you can also see the diamond ring as well there. Can you see the diamond ring? That's what you get when the moon completely covers the sun. You get to see, yeah, I'm afraid I'm in TikTok mode. If you've just joined us, there's nothing wrong with the TV. I have to be this way around. So what happens is, yeah, so the moon starts to move across the sun. So you start to notice, hang on a minute, something's moving across the sun. You can't watch it with your own eyes. You have to look at it through glasses. You have to look through glasses. And what eventually happens is you do get a diamond ring. That's a diamond ring, folks. That's what happens when the very, very last bit of sunlight is blocked by the you can just about see the last bit of sunlight from the sun before it gets completely blocked up. Whether the moon's moving onto the sun or whether it's moving off, you actually get two. You get two diamond rings, and that was one of the diamond rings. I think that happened when the moon was starting to move off. So that's virtually it. I can show you. That's the total eclipse there. So that's what it looked like when the moon moved in front of the sun. That's the total eclipse, and it lasted about 2.5 minutes. So the moon at that time in 2017 August, the Great American Eclipse, the total eclipse for where we were almost on the center line. It lasted for 2.5 minutes. We could not have been much closer to the center line where we were. Casper in Wyoming was literally right on the center line. And so that's what we got to see. Now, I do have another. I've got this other picture here, which is a little bit different. It's not quite as pronounced as the other one you saw, but this one you can see the prominences around the outside of the. You might just be able to see there's some flames coming off the sun. That picture there was taken at slightly less exposure, so that you could see the what they call, they're not flames, but they look a bit like flames coming off the sun. So I took that one as well. So and it was great to see. It was really, really great to see that eclipse. It was amazing. I'd like to see another one actually. In fact, they do have another one. April next year is the next eclipse, total eclipse in America. And it's in Texas again. Texas, yeah, we can see it in Texas, just like the one that's coming up now. I think the center line goes through Texas. I used a handbag mirror in a piece of card with a hole punched in, reflected. Yeah, that's a good way. Yeah, you can reflect it onto a. The eclipse was awesome. It wasn't a full eclipse here, but I did get some amazing pictures. Says Cat's Rule. Thanks to Chaddy and Pat Parry. Lunar light. Never look at the sun. No, never look at the sun. No. Amazing photos. Thanks, Leon. No bears were injured when I last watched an eclipse. Well, that was when we got to, after that eclipse, I went to Yellowstone National Park and saw the best night skies I've ever seen in the world. Really. Hi to Cyril. Sun photosphere, 85% covered in Texas. Yeah. I'll have to check up on that. I'm not sure. Hi to Josh Bell. I'm not quite sure. But you know what happens? Tell me. Can anybody tell me what normally happens after a total solar eclipse? Or sometimes before a solar eclipse. The next event. The next event. Does anyone know what the next major event might be? And it usually happens around the same time. Happens around the same time. We have one of these. That's my picture. Again, that was taken in Blackpool back in, I don't know when it was. That's a blood moon. So that's a lunar eclipse. So the reason why we get a lunar eclipse, notice how it's all red. Well, I think some of you probably know why it turns red. So what happens is, so the moon can block out the sun from the earth and it causes a very, very tiny shadow at best. If it's a total solar eclipse, the shadow on the earth is tiny. Well, it's tiny by the size of the earth. It's about 50 miles wide maybe. So if you're on the line where the shadow goes, you get to see that the actual total shadow, the actual center line is usually around about 50 miles wide. If you're anywhere outside of that, you will get a partial eclipse. But if you're inside that center line, you get to see the total eclipse. And the closer you are to the middle of that line, the longer the eclipse. So that's the way it works. But when it's the other way around, when the Earth moves in front of the sun and the moon line up, when we all line up, the Earth is much, much bigger than the moon. So it casts a massive shadow. It casts a huge shadow on the moon. So a lunar eclipse lasts a whole lot longer. But unfortunately, we're not going to get to see the best of it where we are, because I'm going to actually read it out. I've got the magazine here. It'll tell us. So clocks change. Do you know what? It got really dark tonight early. I can't believe how dark it got so early. At tea time, I was putting my lights on at tea time. Why don't we have any total solar eclipse in the UK? It's just because it's it's because we're such a small country that the chances of seeing a solar eclipse, if we're a big country, if you're a big country like America, Canada, you're bound to get eclipses because it's so big. There's more, you do have to travel. I mean, if you're in New York and they have an eclipse down in Texas, you're going to have to travel from New York to Texas. You're still going to have to travel to see it. And if it was the other way around, you'd have to do the same thing. It's just a massive country. You're more likely to see an eclipse if you've got a bigger country, but you still have to travel for it. Yeah, that's just it. We're just not that big enough. The last total solar eclipse we had here, I think, was 1999, was it? And that was down in Cornwall, and most of them were clouded out, but some people did get to see it. Yeah, I think France as well. It crossed over France, parts of France. So that was the last time we had a total solar eclipse in this country. So if anyone's just joining us, I know I'm this way around. There's nothing I can do about it. I've just got to talk to you this way. I can't turn it the other way, I'm afraid. Yes, I've got a quiz. It's a bit of a. I'm going back on an old quiz, I'm afraid. I've got an old one, but I don't think anyone will remember the questions. So the reason why we get a lunar eclipse happening around the same time as a solar eclipse is just that. It's because if the moon happens to line up with the sun and the earth, if they're all in line and you get a solar eclipse, it's more likely that you will get a lunar eclipse around about the same time, because the earth is massive. Because when they come back around again, they're still going to be roughly in the same sort of line. The moon is going to cross that path, that intersectional path that everything lines up with. And because the earth is so much bigger than the moon, it's able to cast a huge shadow into space. The umbral shadow is what they call it. The complete shadow is what they call the umbral shadow. And when the umbral shadow is cast on the moon and we can see it, that's when we get a total lunar eclipse. I'm trying to convince my wife to go to Texas in 2024. You know what? I think I'm just going to go. I'm just going to go. Yeah, there is a quiz. Yeah, I've got a quiz. Peter says he remembers 1999. Yeah. So I'll just talk a little bit about the annual. It's an annular eclipse, like I said. So, like I've just showed you there, that's it there. The ring. That's going to happen, and I'm not quite sure where. It says it'll be visible on the 14th of October. That's the 14th of October. The eclipse. Southwestern US and Central and South America will see a thin burning ring around the moon for over 4 minutes. It's going to last about 4 minutes. As 90%, they say 90% of the sun will be covered up. Remarkably, the remaining 10% of the sun's face that remains visible is enough for daylight to persist. So even if the sun, can you see the sun is covered up by the moon like that, and it's blocking out 90% of the light, it's still going to look like daylight. It's not going to make it look dark. Yeah. Now here's another thing as well. This would look amazing at sunset. Could you imagine if we had a sunset here in Blackpool and the eclipse happened at sunset? Can you just imagine the photographs that you could get? That would be amazing. Now that's the thing, you see, because when we saw the total solar eclipse in America, it was really high up. It was like, it happened around about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So the sun was like up there. It was really high up. There was no way that you could really do a landscape photograph. Well, you could, but you couldn't really do anything too much with it because the sun was too high up. If the sun was much lower down, if it was setting at the same time, that would have made quite an amazing photograph, I think. Thanks, Wayne. If an eclipse happened at sunset, would be beyond. Well, I have seen pictures of these eclipses, the annual eclipses like that one. I have seen pictures of these taken when the sun is fairly close to sunset. And that's when you can do stuff with it. You can actually say, right, I want to get the sun next to Blackpool Tower or something. So I'd go somewhere and I'd wait for the sun to go down, and then we'd get the eclipse, and then you'd get Blackpool Tower. Wouldn't that look absolutely amazing? I mean, the chances of it happening, the chances of getting a photograph like that are very, very slim. Not just because we have a lot of cloud, but because when are we going to get an eclipse like that happening here? I don't know. And it would have to happen, if you wanted to get a decent photograph of it, it would have to happen close to sunset or sunrise, even the other way around. Let's go the other way around. But the easier way to do it for me would be to, if the sun was setting and then the moon moved in front of it, and I was able to get a long distance picture of, say, Blackpool Tower, that would be absolutely amazing, wouldn't it? And that's the trick, and that's why some of these photographs are so hard to do. But if it was somewhere abroad, the weather would probably be a whole lot better. Path of 14th eclipses: southern Oregon, southern Utah, from northwest to southwest, Texas, Midland to Corpus Christi. Yeah, so if you want to see the total eclipse, if you want to see this Ring of Fire eclipse, it's going to be on the 14th of October, and I'm pretty sure that there will be some channels that are streaming it, so you can watch that. There'll also be some channels that will be streaming the lunar eclipse as well. We can see a little bit of the lunar eclipse as well. We can see that. We can see that. So an annular solar eclipse happens when the moon appears smaller than the sun as it crosses a disk and doesn't block out all of the light. This happens because the moon's orbit around the Earth is elliptical, so sometimes it's further away, sometimes it's a little bit closer. So, a narrow path, it's possible to experience darkness in the day of all of a sudden. Yeah, I'm just trying to. It kind of shows you a bit of a diagram. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a diagram there which kind of shows the way the shadows work. It shows how you get a ring of fire eclipse and a total solar eclipse. So what's happened during the total solar eclipse is the shadow. You get a full shadow, but you never get a full shadow during an annular eclipse. It just doesn't happen. Hi to Andrea. Hi to Paul Burrows. Hi. Thanks, Wayne. Is it the Jamie Wayne? Sloth. Oh, Slew usually cover eclipses. So yeah, so there you go. And also, I don't know if it's got in here about the lunar eclipse. I'm sure I read something about a lunar eclipse. So we do have a lunar eclipse. I think it's on the. Does anyone know when the lunar eclipse is? I'm trying to find out now. Excuse me. Sunspot on the sun. Yeah, the sun's got quite a few sunspots on it at the moment. Yeah, the activity on the sun is going up at the moment, so that's a good thing. It's good for auroras. We've got plenty of time to see auroras. So I can't find this bit about the lunar eclipse now. Bear with us. So thanks, Marianne. 28th of October is when the lunar eclipse, we get the lunar eclipse. We get to see a little bit of it. We get to see a little bit of the lunar eclipse. It's not a full one, so we're not going to get a full blood red moon because we're not going to see the complete shadow, I'm afraid. Why is it that I can't find things when, when I really need to? Time for JD and Coke, says Frank in Blackpool. Yep. Can't find it. So there you go. We've got. Although if you're in America, yeah, you get to see the annular solar eclipse if you live in America on the 14th of October, and we get to see a little bit of a lunar eclipse on the 28th. On the 28th of October, and I'm sure there was something in here about the lunar eclipse and I can't find it. Ah, there it is there. It says best time to see 28th of October from around about 7 p.m. in the evening. I think the clock's going to go back before then. I think the clocks go back. Hazel says she's on the wine gums. Brian Cox talked about the sunspot. So the moon passes into Earth's shadow on the 28th of October, creating a lunar eclipse. So the moon will graze the northern end, because the moon will graze the northern edge of the darkest portion of the shadow, results in a small bite appearing, taken out of the sun. It's going to look a bit like this lunar eclipse might be quite nice because although it's not like a total one, we're not seeing a complete where we are. We're not getting to see the full lunar eclipse, but it should look pretty good. You should hopefully be able to notice that the moon does look a bit weird. Sometimes I say it looks a bit dirty when you get like a partial lunar eclipse. So, small partial lunar eclipse. It'll probably look a little bit like this. There's a picture there. Can you see how there's like a dark bit on the moon, and you get like there's a dark bit there, and the rest of it's kind of like a little bit, there. This is sort of what it's going to look like. Do you reckon? Yeah. I mean, it's not going to be glaringly obvious, but I certainly think it's worth looking out for. So on the 28th of October, have a look out, early evening, around about 7 o'clock. That's what it says here, from around about 7 o'clock. It's going to last for a few hours. So it's going to last quite a few hours. It's not going to be something that blink and you'll miss it. This will last, it says here, 7 o'clock until around about 11:30. Probably the maximum, the greatest time, the best time to see it is going to be about 9 o'clock. It's going to be the maximum. It's going to cover about, they reckon it's going to cover about 12% of the moon, which is not a whole lot, but it's something. So there you go. Mark your diary. 28th of October, we've got the lunar eclipse. But unfortunately, it's not quite going to be this, I'm afraid. And that was taken in Blackpool, yeah. It was the blood moon. Now that's what happens when the Earth completely blots out the light from the sun, and the only thing that the only light that does fall onto the moon is the light that comes around the Earth, comes around it through the atmosphere, and it gets filtered out, and only the red light gets through, and then the red light lands on the moon, and that's how we end up with the blood moon. I'm going to Fountains Abbey, lit up with National Trust. This is actually quite a good picture. So that's a picture of me taking a picture of the eclipse. Can you see me? The solar eclipse. That's a picture of me taking a picture of the eclipse, yeah. And I've also got a picture. In fact, I think I might have showed these last week. You see Blackpool Tower with the blood moon above it there? Look. Oh, the clocks go back. Oh, 29th of October. Oh, that's all right. They don't go back just yet then. When the next, I don't know, Chris. I wonder how the lunar eclipse looked from the moon. Well, I think if you're on the moon, what would happen is if you were looking back at Earth and Earth had completely blocked out the sun, you would probably see like a ring of fire. Maybe. I think. It wouldn't be very bright, but you would see like a ring around the Earth. You would see this massive big black thing with a ring around it. And that's what I think you would see if you were on the moon during a lunar eclipse. And also a lunar eclipse is the fullest moon that we could ever see. Going back up the forest bowling. I hope so, Neil. Yeah, I would like to get out somewhere pretty dark and see what we can see. Yeah, I would like to do that, yeah. I've heard that there's some bioluminescence visible around Blackpool, yeah. Has anyone heard of bioluminescence? Yeah? Bioluminescence, it's like plankton. It's a plankton that lights up in the sea, and it looks amazing. And there's some people have been taking pictures of it in Blackpool, so that's something to look out for. So yeah, we've got this meteor shower as well. We've got the draconids, which I talked about before, which, you know, are just far too cloudy to do anything at the moment. On the moon during an eclipse, would you be able to see street lighting on continents? No, well, I'd probably say no. It might be too small. You might be able to, you would be able to with a telescope, I'm sure, but probably not with your own eyes. But yeah, it's an interesting question. But anyway, I've got, if you want the quiz, type 1 if you want the quiz. I've got the quiz now, and I'm cheating a bit because I'm actually using an old one. Because I couldn't be bothered writing out a new one. So, Frank in Blackpool's type 1. Now, Frank in Blackpool did give me a quiz book, which I can read out. The only thing is that they are multiple choice questions, so they're not the easiest questions to explain. So, I'm going to... I could probably ask the questions and not give a multiple choice. So that might be one way around it. Right, so let's see, where are we? Where's the quiz? Right, it's over here. So, what are these questions? I'll have asked these questions a while ago, you probably forgot them. But I do ask the same questions again. I always tend to ask the same. I don't mind going for a quiz again, because if I keep asking the same questions, you get to actually learn stuff. You think, oh yeah, I know that because you asked that before, didn't you? So, can anybody tell me what would be the best time of the year if you wanted to see the best part of the Milky Way, the bright part of the Milky Way? What would be the best time of the year to see it? What months do you think would be the best time and I mean in the UK? So if you live well, actually, it doesn't matter where you are. You could be in America, but this is probably more UK centric. What months would be the best time to see it? And I'm talking about the brighter part of the Milky Way. Got people saying summer. Thanks everyone for typing 1. Sharon says winter. Leon says September. I'd probably go with Leon because September... I mean, in this country, the problem is that in our summer, what happens? We have the everlasting twilight, don't we? And that goes on through July. I think it comes to an end in August. So from August, we can actually get out and see the Milky Way. So maybe August, I would say August and September. Now we're past August and September now, so we've had it for... We've completely had it now. No, we haven't. No, we haven't. No, we haven't. No. You can still see the Milky Way. You can see it right. In fact, you can see the Milky Way all year round. It doesn't matter that we've gone past the best times. We've gone past that now, but it doesn't matter. You can you can't see the brightest part. The galactic core has now disappeared from view. We can't see that now, but we can still see a good Milky Way. Yeah, pretty much. Carry on. We'll just see a different part of it, you know. So that's the only difference. The worst, probably, well, actually, I was just going to say that there are certain times when you can go out and see, and look up and see if you can see the Milky Way, and it just so happens that everything's kind of low down, and it's not popping out to you. Chris says he likes the Cygnus Milky Way. Well, that's good, you see, because we've got the summer triangle at the moment. If you go outside and look up, you might be able to see the summer triangle, and the Milky Way passes right through it. So There you go. There's plenty of chances to see it. When is the... Oh, hang on a sec. Ah. Yeah. The next question. I've just been talking about the next question. Name the 3 stars, the asterism in the winter, what you can see, that uses stars from Orion, the Little Dog, and... Oh, what's the other one? The Little Dog. What's Procyon? I don't even know what Procyon is. What's the major asterism in the winter that uses stars from 3 different constellations? It is a very, very prominent asterism. Try the Nevada Desert. Yeah, that's a good one. Sirius, Betelgeuse, and the other one is called Procyon. So we've got Procyon. What's Procyon? Sirius is the little dog, isn't it? I think Procyon's a big dog, is it? Or is Sirius part of the... No. Yeah, I got it now. Sirius is part of the big dog, and Procyon is part of the little dog. So there's 3 stars there, and they all make up the winter triangle. So if you look out in winter, at the moment we've got the summer triangle. If you look up, there's a massive triangle of stars. 3 stars, and it's a big, big triangle, and it's up there. If you look out now, if it's clear where you are, and it will be up there for the next month or 2, you know, it will slowly drift off towards the northwest as we go towards sort of December. You can still see it in December. But the one I'm talking about in winter is called the winter triangle. It's winter circular. Where is better to view the Milky Way core? Scotland or southern England? Where is better to view the galactic core of the Milky Way? Would it be in Scotland or would it be southern England? Audio Coffee says Scotland. Yeah. Betelgeuse. Yeah. We're looking for Betelgeuse. Betelgeuse is coming back, folks. In Orion. You need to be up fairly early in the morning if you want to see Betelgeuse. So whereabouts do you get to see the galactic core? A better view of the galactic core. Would that be in Scotland or would it be in southern England? There are a lot of people saying Scotland. If you want a better view of the galactic core, you need to be further south. So that would be, you need to be in southern England if you want to have a better view of the galactic core of the Milky Way. So if you said southern England, you're right. Sharon said southern England. Catswheel said southern England. Leon says south coast. Michael says south. Yeah. Try Ireland. Yeah, Ireland's good. Ireland's pretty good. Yeah. And the next one is fairly self-explanatory. Which direction do you look to see the core of the Milky Way? Do you look towards the north or do you look towards the south? So if you wanted to see the brightest part of the Milky Way at this time of year, say, August, September, which way are you looking? Are you looking towards the north or are you looking towards the south? So, some people answered already. Frankie Blackpool says south. Yeah. South. That's right. Yeah, you're always looking towards the south because that's just where it is. But if you're on, say, if you're on the equator, or if you're fairly, you know, if you're in the southern hemisphere, you get to see the galactic core of the Milky Way overhead at certain times, and they get an amazing view of it. It's just because of the way that things are, the way that things just happen to be, I'm afraid. The southern hemisphere gets a very, very good view of the galactic core of the Milky Way. That's why they have all them telescopes down in Chile. You know, Chile, where they have all those telescopes. Well, this is the southern hemisphere. It just so happens to be a cracking place to see the galactic core of the Milky Way. They get to get it overhead. No wonder they get such amazing skies out there. Tell me on there. Right, what time? Just doing a time check. I don't want to go over time if I could help it. Right. Roughly how wide is the Milky Way? Can anyone tell me roughly and we're looking for this in light years. Roughly how wide is the Milky Way in light years? So think of that disk. Think of that big massive disk. Yeah, the disk. I've got a compact disc here. Looks a bit like the Milky Way. Look, see that there? Look, it's a bit like a. So how wide is it? Say from one end to the other end. Look, how wide? People say. Michael says 100,000 light. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Leon says 100,000. It's around 100,000 light years. Yeah. Sarah says. I think Sarah says 10 million. Is that? I can't count all the zeros. Neil's got it right. Yeah. Well done for that. What type of galaxy is the Milky Way? Are we a spiral? Are we a or are we a barred spiral? Everyone's saying. You know, I actually think I don't really know the answer to this one, to be quite honest. I think there's talk. We are actually a spiral galaxy, like most of the galaxies. But there's some talk that there could be a bar. There could be a bar there. So if you look at another galaxy, if you look at, say, the Andromeda Galaxy, and I've got a picture of the Andromeda Galaxy, the Milky Way would look fairly similar. Let's have a look. So I've got a picture of when I find it. There's a picture of the Andromeda Galaxy which I took. So you can imagine the Milky Way would look something like that. So that's a spiral galaxy. Yeah. So if you said spiral galaxy, that'll do me. It's possible that there could be a bar in it. Some of them are a little bit different, you know. Some of them are irregular. Not all galaxies are perfect. They're not all, you know, they don't all look the same. Pub bar. Never seen a pub in the Milky Way. So who said? Michael said spiral first, then audio coffee. Cat's Rule said spiral. Well done for that. What is the biggest and easiest to see object in the night sky visible from Earth that is not a part of the Milky Way? What is the biggest and easiest to see object in the whole night sky visible from Earth that is not a part of the Milky Way? I'll give you a clue about this. You can't see it from the UK. You need to be quite far south. So there's a clue for you. The biggest and easiest to see object in the night sky. I can show you a picture. It's the Large Magellanic Cloud. So did someone say name Southern Magellanic? Michael said Southern Magellanic Cloud. It's actually this here, the Large Magellanic Cloud. You need to be south of the equator if you want to have a chance of seeing it. It's a bit like a fluffy cotton wool bud in the sky. It's around about, I'd say about 10,000 light years across. It's an irregular galaxy, a dwarf irregular galaxy. So the stars in there, just like what we've got, there could be life up there. You never know. You just never know. There could be. I've got another picture by Hazel. Magellanic Clouds, Greg Helton, yeah. I want to show you a picture that I took. Can you see that there? There's a picture of the Milky Way taken from South Africa. And can you see to the top left, we've got a couple of puffy bits. Those are the Magellanic Clouds. We've got a large one and a small one. So that picture there was taken down in South Africa. So the large Magellanic Cloud is the biggest thing that we can see in the night sky. Might see it in Tenerife. Not quite the Fons, not quite. You can actually see it, arguably see it in Egypt at certain times of the year. You can see it from Cape Verde, although it would be very low on the horizon. So the best place, if you want to have a good chance to see them, get you off to South Africa right now, this month and November. Because I took that picture there in November in South Africa, and the Magellanic Clouds were as high up as they get. So there you go. So the answer I was looking for was the Magellanic Cloud. There's a picture of me looking at them. That's me, that. There you go. Yeah, Australia. Australia was a bit expensive. We went to South Africa. Oh, we had an amazing time in South Africa. Egypt Street in Warrington, Cheshire. You can try. Name the constellation that appears closest to the galactic core from where we can see it from. So which constellation is the closest to the galactic core from where we can see from? So what constellation is the galactic core actually in? It's not in the constellation. The constellation is, the stars are actually much closer to us than the galactic core. The galactic core is probably about, I don't know, 30,000 light years away from us. And yet the constellations the stars in the constellation will be much closer to us. They will be in an arm of the galaxy. The constellation we're looking for, oh, we've got loads of good answers. Leon, Sagittarius, Michael, Sagittarius. Thanks, Marianne. Frank in Blackpool, Sagittarius. Yeah, it is Sagittarius. And if I could just show you a picture. Sagittarius is where the... So I've got a picture here of the Milky Way and a lighthouse. Now Sagittarius is just here. Can you see? There's a group of stars just up here, and they look a bit like a teapot. They say they look a bit like a teapot. This is where the the direction of the galactic core. There. So that clump of stars that you can see, that cloud of stars, are tens of thousands of light years away. And yet the stars of Sagittarius are much closer to us, and they're actually in one of the spiral arms in between us. So that's how it looks towards Sagittarius. It's an amazing part of the sky, and there you go. And that happens to be where I've actually drawn it out there. There you go. Can you see that? I've actually drawn the stars out there. It looks like a teapot. It looks a bit like a teapot. A teapot that's the asterism there. There you go. That's what Sagittarius looks like, pretty much. There's a few more stars to it than that, but that's the main sort of shape. It looks a bit like a teapot. So there you go. So that's Sagittarius for you, yeah? Cat's rule said that these questions are hard. I looked tall in that picture, yeah. That picture, it did stretch me a little bit. It's just to do with the lens. I do look a bit taller than I really am, but I am quite tall. But yeah, it did make my legs look really, really long. So there you go. I've got one more question. I might have missed one, but never mind. Which hemisphere has the best view of the Milky Way core? Southern, northern, or southern? So which hemisphere of the Earth is best to see the galactic core of the Milky Way? I've already spoke about this. When is the Leonid minute going to be? I don't know about the Leonids at the moment, but I'll keep an eye on it. Mr. Monkey Lee, sub, thank you very much. Monkey Lord, sorry. Mr. Monk Lord. I thought it said Monkey Lord there. Frankie Blackpool says he still can't see the teapot. We have seen the teapot. Oh, we did see it from Wales last year. I think we just about see the edge of the T-spot. If you're lucky, you might just be able to see a bit of it now. If you have any, if you're lucky enough to get clear weather. Everyone's saying the southern, and that's right. Yeah, southern hemisphere is the best for the Milky Way. Say Cookie Run Kingdom. What's that all about? Southern hemisphere. Yeah, everyone's saying the southern hemisphere. That's it. That's it. Well done, everyone. Yeah, there you go. That's it for this week. A little bit sort of sorry about this. Sorry about the portrait mode. It was complete. I don't know what happened. I really don't know why I'm like this. But it didn't matter. It didn't really matter too much. We still got there. So, eclipse in America, October the 14th. You can watch it on YouTube. I'm sure there'll be people live streaming the annual eclipse. It looked pretty good, actually. So, follow the eclipse. And then we've got the lunar eclipse on the 28th. I'll probably do more about that closer to the time. So I'm going to leave it there now. Thanks to everyone for joining in. Thanks to all the mods. Oh, thanks very much to Cat's Rule. I failed the quiz, but you never failed to educate. Thanks very much. Wowzers. Whoa, that is amazing. Thanks, Cats. Thanks, Stephen. Good night all. Zoe Allen, November. Peter Johnson, thanks from Ramsbottom. Karen Davis, bye. Bye, everyone. That's it for this week. I'm hopefully going to be back on a Sunday again because I keep having to shift it to a Monday. I was out yesterday at the arcade exhibition in Blackpool. They're playing the arcades, weren't we? So I was out quite late, so I couldn't do the live stream last night. That's my excuse anyway, yeah. So there you go. Thanks for joining, everyone. I'll see you again next weekend, hopefully on a Sunday. And I might be out and about. And we'll see what we can do. I've not done a proper video on the channel for a while. All I've done is live streams for the past month. I have not done a proper video. So I'll have to see if I can get back to doing proper videos. So that's it for this one. And I will see you on the next one. See you next week, everyone. Thanks for joining. And don't forget to keep looking up. Look at the stars if it's clear. Don't forget the live stream for the solar eclipse on the 14th. Make a date for that. Look at it on YouTube. I don't know who will be streaming it. There's bound to be people streaming it. So there you go. Look out for that, and I will see you all next week.